Rain hammered against the windows of the small bookstore as Han Seo-yeon placed the last novel back on the shelf. "Good night, Seo-yeon," her manager said with a smile. "Good night." She switched off the lights and stepped outside. The cold air brushed against her face. It had been another ordinary day. She smiled to herself. Maybe tomorrow she could finally take her grandmother to the hospital for a better checkup. She had been saving money for months. Her life was not perfect, but it was peaceful. She did not know that peace was about to disappear forever. 3 years earlier, her older brother, Han Min-joo, had walked out of their apartment carrying only one bag. "I will come back soon," he had promised. He never did. Instead, he left behind unpaid debts, angry people who knocked on their door every week, a grandmother who cried every night, and a younger sister who had to grow up far too quickly. Seo-yeon stopped working for him a long time ago. To her, Han Minju was already gone. Across the Seoul, a black Rolls-Royce stopped in front of the Kim Group headquarters. Dozens of employees immediately lowered their heads. A tall man stepped out. Black suit, black gloves, cold eyes. Kim Taehyung to the world. He was a billionaire CEO to the underworld. He was the Mafia King, a man whose name alone could end someone's career or their life. Inside his office, silence filled the room. His right-hand man, Park Jin-woo, placed a thick file on the desk. "Boss, we finally found her." Taeyong did not look up. "Who?" "Han Min-joo's younger sister." That made him stop. Jin-woo opened the file. Han Sa-yeon, 24 years old, works in a bookstore. No criminal history. No contact with Han Min-joo, her brother, for 3 years. Everyone says she's innocent. Taeyong slowly picked up the photograph. A young woman was smiling while helping a little girl choose a storybook. She looked gentle, kind, nothing like her brother. Jinwoo carefully spoke. "Boss, I don't think she deserved this." Taeyong's eyes became colder. "3 years ago, my sister also did not deserve what happened to her." He stood and walked toward the window. His reflection stared back at him. 3 years had passed, but he still remembered his little sister wearing her engagement dress, smiling, waiting, waiting for a man who never came. Han Minju had not just disappeared, he had stolen confidential information from the Kim family, millions of dollars, and Kim Ji-on's heart. That night, Taeyong found his sister sitting on the floor, still wearing her engagement dress. She had only asked him one question: "Oppa, was I that easy to leave behind?" From the day on, Taeyong made a promise: "I will find him, and if I can't, I will make him come to me." He looked down at Seon's photograph one last time. "Prepare the cars." That evening, Seo-yeon returned home carrying groceries. Her grandmother was waiting by the window. "You are late." There was a extra work today." Her grandmother smiled. "You work too hard." Seo-yeon laughed. "One day we will have enough money, Grandma. We will move somewhere with a little garden, and you can grow flowers every morning." Her grandmother gently touched her face. "You always dream for other people. When will you dream for yourself?" Sion smiled. "I already have everything I need." She believed those words. She truly did, until The sound of engines echoed outside. One, two, three, four black SUVs stopped in front of the apartment building. Neighbors slowly opened the curtains. Children stopped playing. The entire street fell silent. The entire smile disappeared. Bodyguards stepped out, one after another. The last car door opened. A tall man dressed completely in black slowly stepped onto the wet road. He did not rush. He did not need to. Power followed him wherever he walked. He looked up toward the apartment. His eyes met Seo-yeon's through the window. For reasons she could not explain, her heart started pounding. A few seconds later, knock, knock, knock. Someone was at her front door. Her grandmother looked confused. Are you expecting someone? Seo-yeon slowly shook her head. No. The knocking came again, louder this time. She walked toward the door with trembling hands. As soon as she opened it, six bodyguards stood outside. Behind them, Kim Taehyung calmly removed his black leather gloves. His expression held no anger, no kindness, only certainty. He looked directly into her frightened eyes and spoke the words that changed her life forever. Han Seo-yeon, you are coming with me. Seo-yeon's fingers tightened around the doorknob. Her grandmother looked from behind her, confused. Seo-yeon, who are they? Before Seo-yeon could answer, Kim Tae-yong spoke. His voice was calm. May we come in? It sounded polite, but it did not feel like a request. Seo-yeon stepped outside and quietly closed the apartment door behind her. My grandmother is not well. I don't want to scare her. Taeyong looked at the closed door for a moment before looking back to Seo-yeon. Good. I have no reason to involve her. Seo-yeon took a deep breath. What do you want from me? His answer came without hesitation. Your brother. I have told everyone the truth.
I don't know where he is.
Sion blinked in surprise. You believe me? Yes. Then why are you here? Taeyong slowly stepped closer. Rain fell between them, but neither of them moved. Because Han Minju made one mistake. He thought disappearing would save him. Sion frowned. My brother abandoned us. He abandoned me. You have the wrong person. Taeyong's expression remained cold. No, I found the only person he left behind. A black umbrella was opened over Taeyong's head by one of his guards. He ignored it. Instead, he looked directly into Sa-yeon's eyes. 3 years ago, my younger sister fell in love with your brother. Sa-yeon stayed silent. He promised her marriage. He promised to protect her. Taeyong laughed softly. It was not a happy laugh. It was full of anger. The night before their engagement, he stole confidential documents from my company. He stole millions of dollars, and he disappeared. Sion's face slowly turned pale. No, he would not. He did. My sister waited all night in her wedding dress. She refused to believe he had left.
She kept saying, Oppa, maybe he's just late. Taehyung's jaw tightened. I watched my sister cry until sunrise. Silence filled the hallway. For the first time, So-yeon understood why this man hated her family. She lowered her head. Um, sorry. Taehyung's eyes hardened. I don't want your apology. I want justice. So-yeon looked at him. I can't give you my brother. I don't know where he is. I know. His answer confused her again. If you know I'm innocent, then let me go. For a brief second, neither of them spoke. Then Taehyung quietly said, I spent 3 years looking for him. I searched every country. I questioned everyone he knew. Nothing. He took another step forward. So I changed my plan. Seo-yeon's heartbeat became faster. What plan? His dark eyes never left hers. If Han Minjon won't come back for himself, he'll come back for you. Seo-yeon felt the world stop. What do you mean? Taehyung nodded toward one of his men. A black folder was placed in her hands. She slowly opened it. Inside were official marriage documents. At the top was written, Marriage registration. Her hands began shaking. She looked at him in disbelief. No, you'll marry me. No. She threw the papers onto the ground. I'm not a tool for your revenge. I've done nothing to your family. I won't marry you. The bodyguards instinctively moved forward. Taeyang raised one hand. They stopped immediately. He bent down, picked up the papers himself, and placed them back into the folder. You have courage, but courage won't change what's coming. Soyan's eyes filled with tears. You can't force someone into marriage. I can. No. My answer is no. Her voice echoed through the hallway. For the first time, the apartment door opened behind her. Seo-yeon, her grandmother, stood there, worried. What is happening? Soyeon's face turned white. Grandma. Before she could explain, her grandmother looked at Taeyang. She noticed his expensive suit, the bodyguards, the black cars. She understood immediately that these weren't ordinary people. The old woman slowly bowed. If my granddaughter has made a mistake, I apologize. Soyeon's heart broke. No, Grandma. You don't have to apologize. Taeyang watched the scene silently. He had expected fear. He had expected excuses. Instead, he saw an old woman trying to protect her granddaughter. For the first time, something inside him hesitated, only for a second. Then he buried the feeling. He couldn't forget Jeon's tears. Taeyang reached into his pocket and placed a simple white envelope on the small table beside the door. What is that? Seo-yeon asked. A wedding invitation. She stared at him. I didn't agree. You don't need to. The wedding will take place in 7 days. She shook her head repeatedly. I won't come. You will. And if I don't? Taehyung looked at her calmly. I don't make empty promises. His voice remained quiet, almost gentle, but those words frightened Seo-yeon more than shouting ever could. He turned around and began walking toward his car. Halfway there, he stopped. Without looking back, he spoke one final sentence. Tell your brother, if he wants to save his sister, he has 7 days. Taehyung entered the car. One by one, the black SUVs disappeared into the rainy night. Seo-yeon stood frozen, clutching the wedding invitation with trembling hands. Her grandmother slowly picked up the envelope and looked at it. Then she whispered, Who is Kim Taehyung? A tear rolled down Seo-yeon's cheek. She looked at the dark road where the cars had vanished. She had only met him once. But she already knew one terrifying truth. Kim Taehyung wasn't asking her to become his wife. He had already decided she would. And for the first time in her life, Seo-yeon wondered if fate had already chosen an ending she could no longer escape. The wedding invitation lay on Seo-yeon's table. Every time she looked at it, her heart felt heavier. Wedding date, 7 days later. It wasn't an invitation. It was a countdown. The next morning, Soyeon left for work earlier than usual. She kept looking over her shoulder. She couldn't shake the feeling that someone was following her. As she reached the bookstore, she noticed a black SUV parked across the street. A man in a black suit stood beside it. The moment he saw her, he spoke into an earpiece. Seo-yeon's heart sank. They're watching me. They're watching me. For the next 3 days, the same thing happened. A black SUV, different bodyguards, always watching. They never spoke to her, they never came close, but they were always there. At first, she was scared. Then she became angry. I won't let him control my life. That evening, she met her best friend, Yuna, at a small cafe. Yuna listened quietly as Seo-yeon told her everything: the marriage, the threats, Kim Taehyung. When Seo-yeon finished, Yuna looked horrified. Why didn't you tell me sooner? I was afraid. Yuna reached across the table and held her hand. Then don't marry him. I won't. Run away. Seo-yeon looked up. Run? Yes. Leave Seoul. My cousin lives in Busan. You can stay there until everything settles down. For the first time in days, Seo-yeon felt hope. Maybe there really was a way out. That night, she packed a small suitcase, only the things she truly needed: a few clothes, family photograph, her parents' wedding ring, the little savings she had. She quietly kissed her sleeping grandmother's forehead. I'm sorry. I'll come back for you. Tears filled her eyes. She hated leaving her grandmother behind. But if she stayed, Taehyung would destroy both of their lives. At 5 a.m., before sunrise, Seo-yeon quietly left the apartment. The streets were almost empty. She quickly got into a taxi. Seoul station, please. The taxi drove away. She didn't notice the black motorcycle following behind. Inside the Kim mansion, Park Jinwoo entered Taehyung's office. Boss, Miss Han has left her apartment. Taehyung didn't look surprised. Where is she going? We believe she's trying to leave Seoul. Taehyung slowly closed the file in front of him. I expected this. Should we stop her now? No. His calm answer surprised Jinwoo. Boss, let her believe she's free. Then, we'll meet her at the end. Seoul station was crowded. People rushed in every direction. Soyeon pulled her cap lower and looked around nervously. No bodyguards, no black cars. A small smile appeared on her face. I made it. She bought a ticket to Busan and hurried toward the platform. Just a little longer. Then she would be free. The train doors opened. Passengers began boarding. Soyeon stepped forward. One step, two steps. Then, a familiar deep voice echoed behind her. Running away without saying goodbye? Seo-yeon's body froze. Slowly, she turned around. Kim Taehyung stood a few meters away, wearing a black overcoat, hands in his pockets. His bodyguards surrounded the platform. No one dared to interfere. Her heart dropped. How? Taehyung walked toward her. I told you, I'll always know where you are. Soyeon's eyes filled with tears. You've been following me. I've been protecting what belongs to me. I don't belong to you. Her voice echoed through the station. People stopped walking. Some secretly took out their phones. Taehyung noticed immediately. His bodyguards quietly asked everyone to put their phones away. Within seconds, the platform was silent again. Taehyung stopped in front of Seo-yeon. His expression remained cold. If someone kidnapped you today, my enemies would use you against me. I'm not your wife. Not yet. Seo-yeon glared at him. I hate you. For the first time, a faint smile touched the corner of his lip. I know, and I don't expect you to feel anything else. His answer caught her off guard. He wasn't asking for love. He wasn't even asking to be liked. Only obedience. Taehyung held out his hand. Come. No. Seo-yeon. I said no. Without warning, she tried to run through the crowd. She had only taken a few steps when someone gently caught her wrist. It was Taehyung. He hadn't used force, but his grip was firm enough to stop her. She struggled. Let me go. I won't. I'll scream. You already did. Tears streamed down her face. Please, I've done nothing to you. Please let me live my own life. For the first time, Taeyang looked directly into her tear filled eyes. His grip slowly loosened. A small voice inside him whispered, She is innocent. But another memory quickly replaced it. His sister.